We're back. This is Black Thought. I'm your host, Dr. Hutchinson, and we have with us today representatives from the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers Union that falls under the AFL-CIO. And we are talking about the lockout at the local Kellogg plant here in Memphis. And I'm so pleased to have with me, sitting in front of me now, Mr. Kevin Bradshaw, who is the local union president of Local Union 252G. And Mr. Bradshaw, before we went to break, gave us a general overview of what we're looking at concerning this lockout. Mr. Bradshaw, I appreciate that.
And we appreciate you for having us here.
Thank you. Let me do this. Let me slow walk what you said, because you said so much. First of all, let's go back to what you said. You said that there was a overall general contract over all the Kellogg plants that was already passed and agreed upon by both parties.
Yes, sir.
All right, talk to us about that. Tell us, I know you can't tell us everything, but give us a general overview of what that is and what's in it.
Okay. Well, our master contract, like I said, covers all 4 plants in North America. And in that contract, it has all provisions as far as hourly wages, new hire progression rates, benefits and health care and insurance, life insurance, COLA, cost of living allowance, which we're one of the few who still have that, along with the government. And those things have been negotiated upon for the history of bargaining with Kellogg's and BCTGM. And since '87, the company, the more money they've made, they've always tried to come back and negotiate to be able to take something from us. And one of those things have always been the casual language, which basically fell into play back in when they cut out a plant in Battle Creek, Michigan. They got done away with the South plant, and they got the casual language that's sort of like part-time workers who work at a lower rate doing cause and effects bargaining. So when that came into play, the other plants started adopting this casual language. So we adopted that casual language under our master contract, that they would make less money than we make, but they don't have benefits and insurance.
So let me hear you correctly. You have the master contract, and since '87, Kellogg has been trying to find ways to chop away at the master contract.
Right.
All right. Then they found a way through the casual, what do you call that again?
Casual employee.
Casual employee. So basically, you're hiring employees that don't have the full benefits
Right.
of the regular employee. So they've used this tool to now cut at employees in all of the plants. Am I hearing you correctly?
That's correct.
All right. Now, let's even go further in this conversation. Now, as plants go, how did plants rank in terms of size? Just to give us an idea.
I would say Omaha, Nebraska would be the largest plant. Battle Creek would be next. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, and it sounds like until they cut out some of the production at the Battle Creek plant, from what you said earlier, they may have been right up there with Omaha, maybe
Right.
past them. But
yes.
now we have the order. So now Memphis is last. But now there's some significance then to why we're seeing this lockout in Memphis and why it's looking the way it does. Kind of open that up for us.
Well, Memphis, for the history at Memphis, we've always been a low-cost producer. We've always ran above and beyond our goals and done everything. Number one in safety. All those things were sort of like guarantees from the company that our existence would always be there because we've always met and exceeded every goal. But now when they took away pounds from our plant and gave them to other locations, calling a reallocation of pounds, that made our costs go up. So for our costs to go up, we had to offset our costs by cutting jobs. So they proposed to cut 70 jobs, but through our rate that we didn't have that 8 employees or 7 employees less, they cut 63 jobs.
All right, let's back up. I think I know what you mean, but allocation of pounds, does that mean the amount that you have to produce? What is that?
Well, yeah, that's the overall capacity of how many pounds it may be, 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 3 million pounds.
So the bottom line is you have a ratio of employees to pounds.
Correct.
So when you cut the poundage, you cut the amount of employees. So they already planned for a certain amount of employees. You said 70 to be cut, but then when everything was adjusted, it turned out to be 63.
Correct.
So now, let me ask this question. What I'm hearing then is, when they cut the poundage and you decrease the workforce, then you really, in essence, put the whole plant at risk. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. That's what we were told.
Okay, so now, when you put the plant at risk, talk to us about what that looks like from the union perspective.
Well, from a union perspective, it's weakening the workforce because it's more of a divide and conquer tactic that they're trying to use. And with the proposal that they brought to the table just here at the local contract, that would ultimately set us up for failure down the road within the expiration of our master contract.
So the bottom line is, from what I'm hearing, the Memphis plant, it sounds like this may be the first plant to have to renegotiate under the master contract. So I guess your part in the master contract expires first.
Well, our local contract expires first.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. So in order to prepare for that, it sounds like the powers that be that Kellogg said, we're going to take their poundage away. So we're going to take away workers, and then they're going to be in a weakened position so that when we renegotiate, we can find a way to cut out the legs under the union and do what we want.
Exactly. You're exactly correct.
And so when did this lockout start?
The lockout started October 22nd at 7 a.m., but we received notice that threatening the lockout on October 16th during our negotiation.
So they threatened you, but then did they tell you when it would happen, or they just told you it would happen?
And I think the letter pretty much said it would happen on expiration of our expiration of our local.
Okay, and the local expired on
October 20th at midnight.
Okay, so it sounded like October the 20th, I don't have a calendar in front of me, was a Friday or something like that?
I believe it was a Sunday.
Yeah, and then they gave it 2 days and then locked you out.
Correct.
All right, have they been willing to negotiate during this lockout?
Well, they've always said that they've been willing to negotiate, and we've always been willing to negotiate. We actually met with a federal mediator, but nothing came out of that. They weren't willing to back off any of their proposals that we actually legally couldn't negotiate.
So, it sounds like to me then, this sounds like a basketball game before the era of the 24-second clock. They just let or a football game where you take a knee. They just let the time run out.
Right.
And then they said, well, since the time has run out, the game is over, it's over. So they just waiting for, and this is not a disparaging term, this is just a sports term. They're waiting for the fat lady to say
Yes.
that it's over. And in the meantime, have they hired replacements for the employees?
Yes, they do have replacements. We're not sure exactly how many they are, but they're running 2 shifts, 2 12-hour shifts with replacements that are from out of town.
Wait a minute, they got replacements from out of town?
Yes, they paid for some company called IMAC, and it includes security guards, armed security guards, bus loads of what we call scabs, and hotel in the Hilton.
So, wait a minute, I'm a little slow. You all live in Memphis, right?
Right.
Work at Kellogg, right?
Yes, sir.
Do they put you up in a hotel room when you go to work?
No, they do not.
Okay. And I'm assuming then they may provide them some food, we don't know, but do they provide anything for you other than a place to work?
They don't provide anything for us, but they're providing for them a mobile kitchen and a chef on all 3 shifts. All free.
So, viewers, I know you can get this, but I want to make sure you get it. Now, you have people that have been working for you for a while. All right? They've been doing a great job for you for a while. They live in your city. You don't have to provide anything extra for them other than what was negotiated in the contract. So now, you bring in people from the outside to run your plant. You have to get them here. You have to put them up in the hotels. You have to feed them. And then you have to pay them. So now, when the smoke clears on that, they're probably paying more to keep y'all out
Oh, yeah,
than they would pay to let you work.
exactly. We just want to work.
And but see, that makes sense to them, because then they have a greater level of, this is all about control.
Exactly.
So now, what leverage have you all gotten? What kind of support have you all gotten locally? Because I want to hear that too.
Well, locally, we've been getting a lot of support from all the religious community, AFL-CIO, all the labor unions, Memphis Police Department, Sheriff Department, railroads, Teamsters, sheet metal workers, IBEW. I mean, the list goes on. We're getting a lot of support from the people in the city of Memphis, retirees, just people in general coming by the picket lines, dropping off supplies, what have you, donating money for propane and gas to run our generators. We've been getting a lot of support from the city of Memphis, and we appreciate it.
So let me get this right. You all on the picket lines every day?
24/7, all 3 shifts.
Okay. And the plant is located where?
2168 Frisco, exactly where our picket line is.
All right. Now, give us a cross street, main street that is near, for those of us who don't know where that is.
Airways and Dunn Avenue.
Okay. Matter of fact, when you hit that bridge on Airways, going south, you can see it on your right-hand
Right.
side.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, let me break down what this looks like as well. We're looking at the average seniority amongst the 200 workers that are locked out. The average seniority is 20 years of service. So these are people that have put in long hours, long labor to this plant. Some may be near retirement, and they're locked out. Am I correct?
Yes, we actually have people been there 54 years, 53 years.
Matter of fact, yeah, he's right. They're let's see, 25 or 11.5% have 40 years and up of service, and of that number, 2 have over 50 years of service. I did my research. So this is crazy, absolutely crazy. And I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad Mr. Baker is here. What we're going to do is, you heard the issue. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how you can help the striking workers that are locked out. Or let me correct my language. They're not striking. They're locked out. How you can help the locked out workers of the Kellogg plant, because they need our assistance right now. This is Black Thought, and I'm your host, Dr. Hutchinson. The show Black Thought is really key for what's happening in African American life. We need to bring critical thinking to every aspect of life, to all of the issues that beset us, whether it's the violence in our community, whether it's the food deserts in our community, whether it's the effectiveness or ineffectiveness of our houses of worship, whatever it is. We need to bring critical thought to the table, and we need to leave rhetoric alone. When I think about some of the great thinkers that have come out of our history, when I think about how, when you talk about philosophy, when you talk about any area of life, that it had its origins really in Black thought. That's why it's so important for us to emphasize Black thought.